The importance of Carlos Castaneda. Now, Carlos Castaneda is an author that I recommend to a lot of my clients. The basic story is that Carlos Castaneda was a PhD candidate in anthropology at UCLA. And he was looking to write his dissertation on the use of peyote by certain Native American Indian tribes. Excuse me. And he ends up finding an old Native American man of wisdom, sorcerer, or whatever we want to call him. And well, he thinks that he's collecting information to do a PhD. This elderly magical man, sorcerer, whatever we want to call him, Don Juan, takes him as an apprentice and starts training him to join in his endeavor of... and I stumble around these words because it's not really sorcery. But let's just call it that to use a simple word. Now, there have been a lot of people who've criticized the works of Carlos Castaneda. And the reason that I recommend reading Carlos Castaneda is not because it's definitely 100% factual. I don't know, and I don't think anybody ever will know about that. I wouldn't doubt if certain things are made up. But when people claim it to not be factual at all, I say, well, I would be more impressed with Carlos Castaneda if he made it all up. In a way, I'd be more impressed with that than if he just wrote down what happened. Because if he could think of all of that to make up and have so many spiritual truths come through, then bravo to him. You know, some people say, well, he studied a little Buddhism and some other religions, and he kind of did a little mishmash thing and put it all together. Now, when you read Carlos Castaneda, it's important to start from the beginning. And the beginning book is The Teachings of Don Juan. And to go through the books pretty much to the end. But the interesting thing is that the first two books, Carlos Castaneda is in this scholarly mindset of doing his PhD dissertation. The third book, Journey to Ixtlan, Ixtlan, that book has him kind of go over the whole story from a different lens, and it's very interesting to see. The reason that I recommend people to read Carlos Castaneda is one simple thing. And it's not something that comes easy to most of us, and that is that one way to get grounded about an extraordinary spiritual experience is to not obsess about it, to quit talking about it so much. And that is something that Don Juan teaches Carlos Castaneda from the beginning in a very relentless way, and in a way that is very unsatisfactory to the ego. The thing is, when you have a spiritual breakthrough, your ego is going to want to take ownership of that. It's only natural. And it's going to want to create an enhanced ego identity out of that situation. And it is going to be something that is part of the known rather than the unknown. So let me explain. Those of you who know Carlos Castaneda's work are probably thinking of the jargon, but I'm not going to use it right now. But let's say there is a realm of the known, and there's a realm of the unknown. And then, as Don Juan says in these books also, there's a realm of the unknowable. But what happens in these books is that Don Juan takes Carlos through some mind-blowing experiences. You'll see when you read the books. And afterwards, they go to Don Juan's house, they're eating some food, and Carlos wants to ask questions. He wants to understand what just happened. And Don Juan's like, no, we're not doing that. We're not going to talk about that. Right now, we're eating beans and tortillas, and we're going to focus on that. And tell me about back home and what's going on and gossip and whatnot. And if you have ever had a mind-blowing spiritual experience, you might have found yourself obsessing, asking questions, talking to a lot of people about it, and basically trying to understand what happened. And that is really normal. We all do it. But what you get from Carlos Castaneda's books is this idea of not indulging in the questioning, not indulging in the rational mind's efforts to know everything. Because the ego wants to be in control, and part of the way the ego tries to control things is by knowing and understanding. And this seems completely wrong to anybody who has ever valued learning, education, all of that. But think of it as that moment in The Karate Kid that everybody loves, where he all of a sudden learns why he had to paint the fence and wax on, wax off, and all that. It's the muscle memory. It's do you have it or not. It's not do you understand it or not. Getting it intellectually is very different than getting it energetically. So to really put it all together, and there is so much wisdom in the books of Carlos Castaneda. But I'm just focused on this one thing for now, and I might come back and talk more about Carlos Castaneda. But the one thing is this idea of not indulging, not going into the mind so much, letting it be, and not focusing on it too much actually helps ground it into your system. Trying to understand, well, it's kind of, think of it this way. It's trying to understand a song by colors, like understand the song visually. When the song is sonic, it's not visual. It's about sound. It's not about looks. The mind wants to understand magic, and magic transcends the mind. And so as you read the books of Carlos Castaneda and go through these stories and everything, what will happen is that you kind of embody this attitude, this way of dealing with things, so that when you have this amazing spiritual mystical experience, you are able to not overthink it. And again, like I say, there's a lot more to Carlos Castaneda than that. That's the number one takeaway that I have. There are a million smaller ones, and I might get to those in later videos. If you guys like and comment a lot on this one, I definitely will. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to find out more about my work, just go to my website, andysway.com, and hope to see you there.